A few weeks ago at the Southern 500 at Darlington, Erik Jones did something incredible by winning his third career race and second Southern 500, but most impressive part was winning in Petty GMS's number 43 car. Also, it was the first time that the 43 and 3 car have won back-to-back weeks since April of 1999 when John Andretti won in the 43 car at Martinsville and then Dale Earnhardt Sr. won the 3 at Talladega. If Alex Bowman could have won at Kansas, then it would have been the first time that all 3 numbers belonging to 7-time champions would have won in a row of new drivers. But for the 43 car, this marked win number 200 for that number in NASCAR. Yes, Richard Petty does have 200 wins in the NASCAR Cup Series, but they did not all come in the 43 car. Richard Petty has 192 wins in the 43 car, Jim Paschal and Bobby Hamilton each have 2 wins in the 43 car, while Lee Petty, John Andretti, Aric Almirola, and now Erik Jones each have 1 win in the 43 car, rounding out the 200 win mark of one of NASCAR's most famous numbers. However, for as famous as this number may be, it is not NASCAR's winningest number. That number belongs to the number being driven today by Denny Hamlin, who holds the record for most career starts in the 11 car by a long margin over second place Ned Jarrett, with currently 605 starts for Hamlin compared to Ned Jarrett's 324 starts. There has been 69 drivers who have drove the number 11 in the history of NASCAR, and that is a very nice stat. But before we get into the drivers who have made up the 228 total wins in the number 11, let's take a look at all of the drivers who have piloted number 11 without a win. The following drivers would make just 1 start in a number 11 car in their time in NASCAR without a victory: Pepper Cunningham, Hershel McGriff, Frank Gardner, Francis Dion, Earl Brooks, Jim Delaney, Ricky Craven, Chuck Meekins, Junior Spencer, Pete Stewart, Sonny Walters, Ray Chase, Marshall Sargent, Homer Newland, Ray Davis, Bob Williams, Claude Holliday, Kurt Foss, Skip Hersey, Cliff Hill, Sam Hornish Jr., George Combs, Hal Royal, Jim Stewart, Bo Fields, George Fleming, Mark Martin, Glenn Wood, Joe Wetterly, Dave Marcus, Bob Keefe, Norm Nelson, Eric Erickson, and Jimmy Massey all made 1 start in an 11 car in some way or another, whether they were picked to run the car or filling in for a driver. Rex White, June Cleveland, Lloyd Reagan, Fred Bentz, and John Keeper all made 2 starts in the number 11 car. Curly Barker, Art Gill, Jim Russell, Owen Loggins, and Brian Bickers have each drove the 11 car 3 times. Dick Carter, Roy Hallquist, Emmanuel Zervakis, and Eddie Riker all have ran 4 races in a number 11 car without winning a race, while Tim Flock would drive 5 races without a win in the 11 car. J.J. Yaley also ran 6 races in the 11 car without winning a race, and Bob Apperson ran 7 races without a win in the 11 car. George Parrish raced in 14 races in the 11 without a win. J.T. Putney fielded 11 starts without a win. Jason Leffler raced the 11 car 19 times before being replaced in favor of Denny Hamlin. Fireball Roberts had 22 starts without a win, and Brett Bodine would have the longest career in the 11 car without a victory, with 259 starts in an 11 car, with only 7 top 10s for his time in the car, which is quite possibly the worst start-to-finish ratio within the 11 car's history in the NASCAR Cup Series. While many tried but didn't add into the 11 car's legacy of wins in NASCAR, the following 13 drivers make up the legacy of 228 wins to this date, and it all started with the first winner of the 11 car in 1957 of Parnelli Jones, who would win the race at Circuit of the Northwest in Kitsap County, Washington. Parnelli Jones would make a total of 13 races in the 11 car throughout his career, and his first win in this car would be his only win in the number 11. The next person to win the 11 would go on to eventually make this number the prize flagship car of his team's lineup in Junior Johnson. Junior Johnson would win 6 races during the 1958 season, and over the course of history, Junior Johnson would record 54 starts in the 11 as a driver, winning 11 times total. In 1959, Ned Jarrett would become the 3rd driver to ever win in the 11 car, winning twice in 1959, and from then, the 11 car would become an icon of Ned's career, making 324 starts behind the wheel of the number 11, amassing 49 wins, which puts him currently barely second in most wins in the 11 car, and it has him also second in most career starts behind the wheel of the 11. Ned Jarrett would continue to drive the 11 car throughout the majority of the 1960s, but by 1967, more drivers drove the 11, including Bobby Allison and Mario Andretti, who scored wins that season in the 11. For Mario Andretti, he'd make 8 starts in the 11 car, and that victory in 1967 would be his only win in the 11, but for Bobby Allison, well, throughout his long and historic career in NASCAR, he only drove the 11 car 4 total times, and he won in 3 of those starts, which gives him a 75% win ratio, and his average finish is 1.3, so for the history of the 11 car, Bobby Allison, I believe, has the best start-to-finish ratio throughout the history of the 11 in NASCAR. The 6th driver to win the 11 car was AJ Foyt in 1970, who would make just 6 total starts in the 11, but his victory in 1970 would be the only time he would win the 11 car throughout his career. The 7th winner of the 11 car came in 1971 in Buddy Baker when he won at Darlington. Buddy Baker would make a total of 28 starts between 1971 to 1972, winning 2 times in the 11 car. Then in 1973, a rather permanent name entered the 11 car to write a legacy, with Cale Yarborough becoming the 8th different winner in the 11 car, as he'd raced the 11 until 1980, winning his 3 consecutive championships along the way. During this time, he'd make 237 starts, putting him 4th all-time in starts in the 11, winning 55 times, which is currently the record for the most wins in the 11 car, but this of course could still be broken by the current driver of the 11 car. After Cale's time in the 11, we would see DW, Darrell Waltrip, take over the 11 car from 1981 until 1986, becoming the 9th driver to win the 11 car, in a time that would see him win 3 Winston Cup championships as well, driving for Junior Johnson. Waltrip would make a total of 178 starts in the 11 car, winning 43 races, putting him 4th all-time in the win column in the 11 car. In 1987, when Waltrip left Junior Johnson, Terry Labonte took over the 11 car and became the 10th driver to win the 11 car, in a time that would see him make 87 starts, winning 4 times between 1987 to 1989. And later in life, in 2005, he'd make 5 starts in Joe Gibbs' number 11 car, giving him 92 total starts in the 11. After Terry's more permanent time in the 11 car, Geoff Bodine briefly took over the 11 car in 1990 and 1991, and while his brother Brett Bodine would have a longer career driving an 11 car, Geoff's time was better as he won 4 times in 55 starts behind the wheel of the 11, giving him the distinction of becoming the 11th different winner in the 11 car. It's a shame he couldn't have perfected this and got 11 wins. Then after Geoff Bodine, Bill Elliott became the last rather successful driver of the 11 for Junior Johnson, as he would become the 12th driver to win in the 11 car, making a total of 90 starts behind the wheel of an 11 car, winning 6 times in the 11. Now finally, that brings us to where we are now. The 11 car wasn't really a successful number in the late 1990s and early 2000s, but then in 2005, Joe Gibbs Racing, with backing from FedEx, would launch a 3rd car, the number 11 FedEx Chevrolet, with Jason Leffler slated to be the driver. However, after 19 starts in the year, failing to make the top 10 driving for Coach Joe Gibbs, Leffler would be let go from his ride. This would lead them to eventually putting Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, where he has continued to race ever since, cementing his legacy as a 48-time winner in 607 starts and counting, including 3 Daytona 500 victories. He will no doubt score more victories in his career, so he may eventually take over Cale Yarborough's record of 55 wins in the 11 car. While he's a team owner today, he'll likely end his career driving Joe Gibbs' number 11 car before going to a solely ownership role. And while he doesn't have that win record yet, with his record of time in the 11, he holds the record for the most top 10s and top 5s in this car. And until another star takes the 11 from him, he may go down as the best driver to ever drive the 11. But despite that, the one thing that he still lacks is that Cup Series championship. It's eluded him his entire career so far, but I believe that one day he will eventually add that to his resume too. Thanks for watching this video. What's your thoughts on the legacy of the number 11 car in NASCAR? Did one of your favorites ever drive and contribute to this number's legacy? Drop your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and share it with a friend. If you're new to Danny B Talks, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so that you never miss a new video from Danny B Talks. Until next time, take care and I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.